he'd be an evil, dirty cop, blah, blah, blah.
Oh,
it's like, holy shit. All he did was remove graffiti prior to this, get seen with a fire extinguisher putting out a fire, carrying a long arm, which is legal.
Yep.
I don't give a shit what anybody tells you.
What it looks like, it looks dangerous.
And he was running from his assailants, or from the people that was attacking him, beating him with a skateboard, punching him from behind.
With a Glock.
In
his hand.
He just wants more buildings, millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars of people's livelihoods and careers going up in flames. And finally, a patriot stands up and...
It's the first step. It's the first domino.
And he's a son of a bitch now.
Let me put it this way. I sat there and watched that story unfold from start to finish. We sat there and watched Kyle come out. And I know that sports are turned off right now. People are upset. They're bored.
Who cares?
We got a lot of couch goers that have directed their attention from rooting for one side of the other to these stories now that are breaking, and right away they're like, I like the guy without the gun. He's not guilty. Right. And they sat there on Facebook, and I sat there for 2 days while we investigated, and then it was able to be like boom, 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 because they're like, nope, arrest him, arrest his mother. She drove him over state lines. She must have saw that weapon. He drove over state lines to kill. Well, that was wrong. He never took a gun over the Illinois border, because the story goes to say that night he ended up at a guy's house where they all got some guns given because they were going to do some things. So that was a lie. Never crossed state lines. Well, that's what I assumed because that's where he lived. There you go for assuming.
Yeah, like they didn't realize those just did the same thing with Floyd, overdosing on fentanyl, and it's the cops' fault.
Yes, I'm telling you.
I can show you a bunch of pictures of the cops detaining white people the same way. They don't sit on your carotid artery, I can't pronounce it, but they don't do that. They sit behind your neck to immobilize you, because when your forehead's on the ground, you can't move. It's like sitting in a chair. If I push against your forehead and you're sitting in a chair and I'm pushing this way, you can't stand up. Right? So that's how they immobilize him. It's not racist. The man was overdosing and did end up overdosing on fentanyl. So when he said he couldn't breathe when the cops got there, and they tried to help him at first. And then...
This might be the most questionable thing that's said all day, but he also tested positive for COVID.
Yeah, I was going to say it. I was waiting for him to get done.
Wait a second.
Pick a lane.
Wait a second.
Right.
And honestly, so if anyone of any color, any shape, any size rolls up to this house right now, you got wife, children downstairs.
I judge people on.
Are we gonna handle our business, or are we not?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Are we gonna protect And when you start being villainized as being a defender of your country, and patriotism is out the window, and if you're a patriot right now, you're a racist. You're everything else. It's called terrorism.
Mm-hmm. So I've made up my mind.
That's what's happening.
Yeah, I don't listen to these people anymore. I might be one of 10% of the U.S. population I feel so in tune that I cannot afford to listen to anybody. I think there's a lot of morons out there.
We're out
of
sheep. Listening now.
I'm done.
We're out of that. There's
I'm done.
There's too many moving parts.
I wanted to point this out to you guys because we've been. And we'll keep moving on with the Kenosha story and then more about the principal. But to you guys, look at this. So this little post, 1 November of 17. All right, 1 November of 17. When I first read this to people on the channel, they thought, you're nuts. But now let's just look at the state of the nation. So my fellow Americans, over the course of the next several days, you will undoubtedly realize that we're taking back our great country, the land of the free, from the evil tyrants that wish to do us harm and destroy the last remaining refuge of shining light. On POTUS order, we have initiated certain fail-safes that will safeguard the public from the primary fallout, which is slated to occur on 11/3. Now, of course, when I read this 2 years ago, I thought 11/3 was, it's coming up, 11/3. Came and went. Well, guess what's coming up on this 11/3? The elections.
That's right, man.
All right. So as this keeps reading on, upon the arrest announcement of higher, most Podesta actionable on 11/4, confirmation to the public of what is occurring will then be revealed and will not be openly accepted. Public riots are being organized in serious numbers. Now that's already stacking up.
Lifetime.
All right. You guys not think that these, and they're letting them burn. The mayors of these cities are not even stopping it.
Nah.
When a patriot comes out to help, did he own anything? Why was he there? He can't. The people are so propagated.
It's just going to be more.
They were searching for anything to defend the protesters.
But see, the word that they've I argued with her. She goes, "They're protesters." I said, "There's burning and looting going on."
Right.
They're protesters, and it's like people have been brainwashed to. It's like when they showed 9/11 live, and they tell you that's what happens when planes and jet fuel get together. and then you're like, oh, and you almost get retaught in 2 seconds, and then
doesn't take much.
Skip forward. No,
it doesn't
because
take
nobody's
much.
an expert of watching buildings fall and when planes hit. I've never seen a building fall, and I've never seen a plane.
A guy in a Harley hat or T-shirt.
He trained us from start to finish. So then you look at Building 7 that night that they hit and they dropped, and it didn't have a plane and didn't have the jet fuel, and you have to like. You shake out of it. You're like, wait a minute, how did that one fall? Well, mostly due to structural failure. You don't, you just...
You're grasping. It's like...
So, there you go. Q has brought us, like... And this one supposedly come right from Trump because it ends with 11, 10, 20, which is DJT, or... am I right on that? So, on POTUS order, temporary military control will be actioned. We've heard of that. Right at the beginning of the COVID, military went around to each city. They're stationed there. They have been the whole time. Why haven't they made a move yet? Because there's something huge going to come. Once, I still don't know. I'm even confused. Is POTUS going to win? Are they going to allow that win to be shown? I'm hearing that we'll get election results from the people that voted, like us three here. We actually go to the polls. We're going to vote. We're going to get Trump wins. Over the course of the next 7 days, Biden will win.
Yeah,
from all the mail-in.
Well, the news told us, so there's a lot of people that would believe that. Well, no, Biden won. How?
Then they say here, however, the atmosphere, rest assured that the safety, well-being of every man, woman, and child is being exhausted and full. However, the atmosphere within our own country is unfortunately divided, as so many have fallen for the corrupt and evil narrative that has been long broadcast. Now, do we, Trump calls them fake news. Fake news says Trump's fake. I mean, you got to draw a line here, folks. All of us do. Right. At one point, what do you line up with?
Facebook is now saying the CDC is fake news.
Yeah.
Now they're saying masks.
They came out. He said no matter they're going to take down anything. What was it?
They promoted it at first. Now it doesn't go get further with their agenda. So
now
it's wrong. So
it's like, Scott, they've been Zuckerberg gave them the benefit of the doubt at first.
They've been Zuckerberg. So it's just like what's his ass from was it CNN? We get to see. That's illegal for you guys to see the information. Just come to us for the information, and we'll tell. I mean, that's how they're so ballsy. That's how they tell people.
We shut.
What's his ass
down.
did it right there on live TV. Remember that, Mikey? When he he says, it's not for you guys to see court cases and public record.
The WikiLeaks.
It's illegal.
Illegal for you to have.
It's illegal for you to have and to read. But we have it, so you need to just... And I'm like, wow, that's how ballsy they actually are.
And it works.
And their followers are so stupid, they didn't realize they were just called sheep. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's...
So look at this yesterday.
It wouldn't shock me if they tried to say, well, if the news comes out and says Biden wins it, even though they blatantly lie, right away they're going to get some of those in-betweeners going, oh, yeah, I seen that happening.
Front page of the USA Today yesterday.
Awesome.
We go one, we go all. How QAnon is radicalizing Americans. Conspiracy movement rises out of national upheaval.
Radicalizing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like the way they're...
Well, think about it. Again, we're not going to have any faith, like fake news. I mean, there's channels now that kind of cover what we do, but then they also say Q's fake. But they're lining up with the mainstream. Again, Trump had the opportunity to call it fake. He didn't.
Right.
I don't know much about it, but I do know. And then he went into a whole spiel of what they're about, and he seemed to know quite a bit about it.
He goes, hey, yeah, they go, supposedly you're
fighting Satanists and killing
Satanists and child rapers.
Yeah, and he's like, is that a bad thing?
Is that a bad thing?
Yeah.
Like, what are we talking about, man?
See, they don't attack the message within Q; they just attack the people that do it.
You gotta villainize and demonize, and that's how it works.
That's how I know it's even more real, right? You like, holy crap!
Well, the more they push back against.
I wouldn't feel great if the media, if they lie all the time, why would they jump on this to say it's true?
Right.
Why are people waiting for, well, I was with you guys. I know fake news is fake news, but they're even calling you guys fake, so I'm done with you. It's like, well, really? And we're not Q. We just cover we're all Q in a way, but we cover the information. Mm-hmm. If I deemed Q information to be bad, I would put it away just like I did CNN. I don't scour CNN's website every morning to look for things to talk about.
It's almost like they start believing in it, or at least whispering about it and talking about it, just in case it gets out of hand. They make sure they grab that attention,
told us all this too 2 years ago. Soon the mainstream. then you'll get blocked, and all these things will happen. And we've witnessed all of it come every bit of the way.
They wouldn't even talk about it.
They
wouldn't even talk about it. And the crazy thing is when it comes to like things like this, with the whole world falling apart, it 100% matters where you're getting your source from.
Yeah.
So, like, you know, I was telling you about my buddy earlier, Eric Naputi, who's gone viral, who's Common Sense Health. He's putting out these things and being attacked and lawsuits. And he's literally he put out the other day that, so wait, Facebook fact checkers, bullshitters.
Which didn't start until when?
Exactly.
When did that start? When did you start seeing it, by the way?
Facebook checkers?
Yeah. When? Like maybe the beginning of the COVID, kinda, or maybe soon?
I've never heard of it in my life. Now it's fact check fake news.
Yeah.
Where did that come from?
Well, who's fact checking the fact checkers?
Yeah.
Exactly. So
what algorithms
when
that
CDC
set
comes
to?
out and says these things about the masks and voting in person, and then Facebook comes in and fact checks the CDC, who started this whole shit show from the beginning.
Right.
Like, how many circles are we going to go into blindly?
Yep.
Willingly. Like, it's not even a takeover if you're willingly walking into it. And most people are just willingly, sheep to the slaughter, walking into this thing.
Because they call themselves a fact-checking agency does not imply anything other than that's the name they gave their company.
Your name's Scott? Yeah. Fact check, not true.
Right.
Actually, my name is Scott.
So you know? who
we don't like your name. You know.
Who are these people that they have more internet? More. You remember when they used to say, "How does Superman go faster when he's already, like, how does he go fast? Does he go more this? If you've got the same internet that I got, what makes you more of a fact checker than
it's a Zuckerberg special?
How do you get more factual?
It's the Zuckerberg special, man. It's crazy.
Other than if you use Snopes, because if you did, you have to
Snopes.
Right, you have to start looking into
Snopes.
That's owned by Soros.
Exactly.
Don't get me started on Snopes,
Exactly.
man. That's not even worth my time.
So the point is, we're all fact checkers if you're actually researching, but you can't just. Well, CNN said it's debunked. Fact checkers from CNN.
It's just I can see it clearly that Trump has totally disrupted their systematic of their well-oiled machine has now got forks thrown into it.
And they weren't expecting that, man. He wasn't supposed to win, right?
3 years, 3.5 years in, but they have convinced a group that the original group of normies in DC have been doing great. The world was a great place. We didn't have, Hillary and Obama under their era, like, kill more elected officials in the world government game
combined
in the geopolitical world than, and everything seems to be Trump's fault. That's the biggest guys is in my research of all this. I never knew how big of a battle it would be with fellow human, my neighbor, to get the one guy, Yuri Bezmenov, that went through the Russian schools, a KGB of how to destroy a nation, and they plant seeds. And he said it started here in the 70s, and you go through 4 steps, demoralizing the nation and into these other steps. And he goes, you get to a point where these people are so propagated up that you can be arguing with them face to face. It doesn't matter if you shower them, you show them all this D-class, and you keep handing them fact after fact. They just, no, and they keep going, Trump racist. Just like the guy the other day, they said, well, tell me how. And it's like, if you know somebody to be racist, or like you want to call your neighbor like a pedophile, you would know that. You would probably have saw something. Maybe you went to his court case. You would hold on to that. And anytime you're like, he's a pedophile, somebody's like, well, why? What did he? You would know why.
Right.
You wouldn't say, well, I don't know, I just heard. So, because that's dumb. So it's the same with like it's like with Trump. It's with Trump.
Yeah.
People are like, he's a racist, Scott. And you're like, well, tell me how. And they're like, I don't know. The media, I know he is somehow, some way. I've heard it.
Herschel Walker.
That's a lie, because you would know what.
You saw that RNC speech?
I didn't see that one.
Herschel Walker.
Oh, yeah, I saw it. I was sitting here and
he lost a lot of friends over.
Real men stand up right now, man. Like, now is not a time to stand up and say what needs to be said. Herschel Walker, my man, stood up and said, hey, I'm the man. Remember me? Hall of Famer. I am an African-American male. I would not operate and coagulate with a racist. Right. So the fact that you guys are calling my friend a racist, I'm telling you right now, in front of God and everybody, on the biggest stage on the planet, he's not a racist.
Right.
Yeah.
You're an Uncle Tom.
Exactly, man. There's always a way to
You're actually the
he doesn't represent me, as what some of the group will say, because they want to separate, like, he doesn't know what he's talking about.
So when a Reverend Jackson or a LeBron Queen, whatever the hell his name is, right? When they say, "Hey, listen to us. We're members of we're a prominent black man or a woman in the black community. Take our word for it."
Right.
How dare Herschel Walker say the same thing about himself? I'm a prominent black man in America. Please listen to me.
He don't represent me,
guys.
He don't represent us.
Guys. On that note, Biden. If you vote for Trump, you ain't black.
Oh yeah. Okay. Oh my gosh.
1994, what he signed in, right? Let's take it back a couple years before that. Before all this hype, let's take it back to the facts. 1970s. He was quoted. He doesn't want his kids growing up in a racial jungle when they were trying to desegregate schools. Mm-hmm. This guy said he didn't want his kids in a racial jungle. Now he says if you don't vote for him, you ain't black. The stupidity continues. 1994, he signs in the Violent Crime Control and Law Enforcement Act of 1994, which was the biggest mass incarceration of African American males of all time.
Yep.
Okay? He that contributed to 100,000 more police officers. Funding police officers. Okay.
Governmental employees.
June 8th, with all this shit going on, June 8th. Biden, police should not be defunded. A month later on the day, July 8th, redirect budgeted police money to non-police areas.
Right.
Okay, so that's what we call a flip-flop.
Sure.
Okay, now let's take another month. It's August 31st, Monday in Pittsburgh. I got 2 quotes. You're going to love these quotes. In Pittsburgh, after he just said, don't defund them, then defund them, now he goes, let's get the facts straight. I not only don't want to defund the police, I want to add $300 million to their budgets. In that same speech, and I quote, COVID has taken this year, just since the outbreak, has taken more than 100 year. Look, here's the lives. It's just, you think about it, more lives this year than any other year for the past 100 years. And this is the asshole that you guys are promoting right now, LeBron, anyone else, what do we...
He's not.
The stupidity saga will not stop spiraling out of control. It's just amazing that it happens in real time, in front of everyone, on the TV, in real life. It blows my mind.
I don't see the election being close, and I think personally by the time it gets to that point,
not even close.
They're going to say he died of COVID or he's got COVID. So now Kamala and they'll just pick somebody else out of the Democratic Party.
That's the only thing that makes sense to me.
You know what I mean? It's just
that's the only thing that makes sense.
There's no way in hell. And they even asked Biden the other night. It could have been a week ago. The last time I watched anything Biden, as far as him speaking, they asked him, "Well, are you telling us that you could not only run these 4 years?" But he goes, "Oh, look out, 2024." And I'm thinking, Joe, you're 78 years old and don't even know you got a red shoe and a blue shoe on right now.
You're 130 years old in your brain.
And you're thanking Nevada for showing up in Minnesota. You know what I mean? It's just you're all over the place. You're not going to make it 2 terms.
No
That's
way.
No
way.
Last live show, we got a joke made up. It was Biden comes walking into a bar, sits down, looks at the guy to the left of him and says, do I come here often? Then the bartender laughs, "Hey, Joe, what do you have?" And he's like, "I don't know. You tell me."
Yeah. The usual.
What do I normally have?
Well, and that's like the innocent things about Biden that we know of. Like, we don't need to even get started with the smelling children.
I don't know who this guy is. He's
Bill
probably giving away 1,000 today. People do it, and I was like, well, in case you do, here you go.
Who's that? What's this?
Bill Pulte. I don't know. It's an official, so he's somebody. He looks familiar. Do you know him, Scott?
It sounds familiar, but I like what he's trying.
They do that.
Oh gosh!
Hold on, look at this, you guys. I wanted to. I think you saw it, Scott. So right here, I wrote. There you go. Here's a few. God made all lives, so all lives matter. Period. Satan made no lives, so therefore all lives don't matter to him or any of his followers. They only say one group matters. If you say only one group matters, you've been played like a fiddle. But
I like BLM. Babies' lives matter. No, they don't.
How about that one?
I love that one right there,
guys. You're not even wearing your mask when you say this, you dum-dum.
Oh. You were partying in San Francisco when it was first. She was partying in Chinatown.
Read that one.
If you're going to assume I'm racist because I support Trump, then I'm just going to assume you touch little kids because you support Biden. Is that fair enough for your stupid ass? Trying hard to get on all y'all level of stupid. Amen? Here.
That's one of my biggest ones ever. 261 likes over at Twitter, 90 retweets. I just did it yesterday. But
a vote for Biden is a vote for China and pedophilia.
3:23 in the morning. That's when I think best.
Well, you said baby lives matter. Like
bikers' lives matter. BLM.
Yes, they do.
I saw that at the fest. Somebody had that by their tent.
Yeah.
BLM bikers. I was like, holy crap! I like that.
Oh,
I think they all matter. I wouldn't say black lives don't matter. I just don't say that word because it lacks so much.
I think if you're a human being, you matter.
Yeah.
Well, and a human being.
HBM.
Right? So we're
human
talking
being
about
matter.
babies and how many of those are just being killed for no reason, right? We're going to take it to that level. So, Trump's not pro-choice, right? Trump's pro-choice.
Oh, God, yes.
He's pro-choice of school. He's pro-choice of job employment, the lowest unemployment rates of any demographic ever. He's just not pro-choice of murdering your children before they're born.
Yeah.
And we're going to take it to that level because my daughter is 12 days old today. And the fact that... Thank you. Appreciate that. Brother. The fact that we're killing babies, every day like business as usual, and it's just being unspoken, unsaid, and no one wants to talk about it.
And funded.
Well, and funded. And so... Notre Dame being my school, not to put anyone on blast, but
oh man,
if we're what are we doing? Lou Holtz spoke the other day.
That was great.
And he spoke about how this man, Joe Biden, I'm just gonna leave it at that, scumbag extraordinaire, is Catholic by name only. That's probably true because he promotes what? If you're promoting abortion, then guess what? You're not very Catholic. I'm married to a Catholic. I'm related to Catholics. They don't promote that type of thing. So the fact that you're saying that this guy is not Catholic because he supports it, and then Father Jenkins comes out and says, who are we to judge, and doesn't back Lou Holtz?
Right.
Whoa.
That's what I'm saying.
Wait, what? There's so many sheep, there are so many wolves in sheep's clothing right now. And they're running the show.
Yeah.
Until they don't. It's not a problem until it's a problem. And these guys are going to run out of running the show once they get found out with their pants down.
The last guy to win a national championship as coach of Notre Dame football just got hit.
And you aren't going to back him up? Are you kidding me?
I love it. Lou Holtz is one of the greatest motivational speakers
Best
ever.
Human beings of all time.
Yeah, he always said, God gave you 2 ears and 1 mouth. You should listen twice as much as you speak.
Right.
That's something.
His silver spoon. His silver
spoon
speech was great.
100%. Yeah. And then to not back him, to not only not back him, turn your back on him when the whole world's looking, it's embarrassing to be a Notre Dame fan right now. Honestly, I'm saying this in front of God and everyone. It's an embarrassing thing. If you can't stand behind a man that's standing up and no one else is, it's embarrassing, man. Plain and simple.
They need somebody to blame. They're blaming Trump for everything. And I've said it before. It's one of my favorite sayings. I probably use it too much, but they're going to blame him for the riots, the rapes, the murders, the plundering, pillaging, yada yada. They could literally see the man walking across Lake Michigan, and they'd say, "There's no way he's Jesus Christ."
Read a hair of this, because this is. I just saw this. I don't know how I missed it.
Akron, Ohio, Amish strong. Wow.
So read some of that up here on the big screen. Hold on. There you go. So June 7th.
Yeah, June 7th, 2020. In recent months, we have been witnessing the formation of 2 opposing sides that I would call biblical. The children of light and the children of darkness. The children of light constitute the most conspicuous part of humanity, while the children of darkness represent an absolute minority. Listen to that, absolute minority. And yet, the former are the object of a sort of discrimination which places them in a situation of moral inferiority with respect to their adversaries, who often hold strategic positions in government, in politics, in the economy, and in the media, in an apparently inexplicable way, the good are held hostage by the wicked, and those who help them either out of self-interest or fearfulness.
That's a great little something we were just kind of talking about there, right? So then look, these two sides, which have a biblical in nature, follow the clear separation between the offspring of the woman and the offspring of the serpent. On the one hand, there are those who, although they have 1,000 defects and weaknesses, are motivated by the desire to do good, to be honest, to raise family, to engage in work, to give prosperity to their homeland, to help the needy, and in obedience of the law, to the law of God, to the merit of kingdom of heaven. On the other hand, there are those who serve themselves, who do not hold any moral principles, who want to demolish the family, the nation, exploit workers to make themselves unduly wealthy, foment internal divisions and wars, and accumulate power and money. For them, the false illusion of temporal well-being will one day, if they do not repent, yield to the terrible fate that awaits for them, far from God, and an eternal damnation. Mm-hmm. So look at this next line. We will also discover that the riots in these days were provoked by those who, seeing that the virus is inevitably fading and that the social alarm of the pandemic is waning, necessarily had to provoke civil disturbances because they would be followed by repression, which, although legitimate, could be condemned as unjustified aggression against the population.
That's exactly what's going on. So this is the 4th, 5th, or 6th attempt by the extreme left, by the media, to.
How's this happening in Europe? Exact same time, by the way. They said it's all like perfect synchrony around the country right now.
What's really cool is when was it? What's today? Thursday? Was it Monday or Tuesday? UK, Canada, Germany had the biggest gathering of people ever, saying, "Hey, we're up, we're awake now. Like this is over now. Like we run the shots, we voted you in. You know."
That's right.
It's amazing
it's
when
really happening, man. Like it's a beautiful thing to watch.
It's when you can take, and we've seen it in our lifetime with some countries, but the generations before us watched democracies pop up all over the world. It can be done when the people have enough of a situation. They will stand up. So I don't understand why the left thinks that we're just going to allow that. We already have democracy, or maybe the younger generation don't appreciate it. But they got to be out of their damn minds to think that they're going to be successful. But
they're delusional.
If they're brainwashing them at a young age, they're just going to wait the rest of us out till we get old enough and die. But they're going to have the last 2 generations. You notice they're labeling generations. When I was in school, I don't remember ever being called a generation XYZ, canceled. Kids can tell you now that are 20, 25, 25 to 20, or 32, 32 to 38. They can tell you what they've been labeled, and they just go with it. They don't even realize at that level they're being labeled, they're being sheeped, and they've been taught. And it just blows my mind that we as a people are allowing this kind of crap to happen. My kids are not going to be what's the next generation?
Who cares?
Who
cares?
I hope they're a Patriot generation, but
sounds good to me. Patriot generation. I think that one's coming.
Yeah, I hope so.
I think it's being born right now.
They're brainwashing these kids, so they're kind of like
who
Muslims.
Was it, Trudeau? Oh, in Canada, like not wanting the parents to be in the room, and like when they're like teaching the things and like.
Right. Tried to make it illegal. I think the House of Commons voted it down.
How insane is that? Like, wait.
Especially if it's a public school.
There's zero logic. I mean, there's zero logic to a lot of things going on right now. So, I mean, I guess that makes sense.
Indoctrination and like this damn principle we're dealing with in our area. The wrong people are in the wrong positions. You got
at the right time. They're about to not be there anymore. That's what it comes down to, man. That's what's happening.
People have to open their eyes and realize that their children are being influenced a great deal, and unfortunately probably more during the week than you're influencing them at home. Lately, not so much because schools are closed for the most part. But I've always talked about, if you're going to give your kid to the public school system 8 or 9 hours a day, maybe 10 by the time they get on a bus and go, then you're allowing the public school systems, the village, like Hillary always called it,
that she needs to raise
your kids. And I'm okay with the fact that I can admit that the public school system spends more waking hours with my children than I do during the week, right? And I've always said you got to give them rights. You got to give them rights to spank the kids and blah blah. What you know what? They don't even want to do that anymore. It's gotten so liberal. The conservative teachers, I don't see very many of them. But just because I'm giving you the right to influence my kid does not mean that I'm going to stand by and allow you to manipulate and indoctrinate my children. But yet we have.
That's the deal.
Anybody with children, my kids' age, between 5 and, well, actually 7 months old and 20, your children have been indoctrinated.
That's right.
Period. And you can sit here and lie to me till you're blue in the face if it's not a private school, but yet it's public. Shit like this happens every day. They're being indoctrinated. Guns are bad. Wars are bad. I'm right. You're wrong. You're blue. I'm red. You know, they're being told opinions, not taught history. And I mean, look at Common Core math, man.
Oh my God.
Math worked. Now I don't understand it.
Math worked. That's the end of it. That's like, physics. That's physics works. You don't need to modify it or change it based on your indoctrination. But all it takes.
Trump, I can't. Crazy Pelosi says she was set up 7 minutes ago by the parlor owner when she improperly had the salon opened and didn't wear a mask. Does anyone want the Speaker of a House who can be so easily set up?
Guys, she's 2 bullets from the head honcho of the country. That's scary.
Well, that was
scary.
She set up the world. I said she must be held accountable.
That's a problem.
Remember. That's funny. It's not funny. It's disgusting. But remember the fact that if they do mail-in voting and it takes months and months and months. Remember what January 20th is. If a president isn't duly elected and the votes counted, it goes to the Speaker of the House.
Yeah, the third in charge.
It's
but she's up for election too.
Well, yeah, but
in her district, she'll
she's
probably
not
win.
Gonna lose her
Guys,
district.
this is not a funny conversation.
Well,
this
is why we're paying attention.
January 20th, if the election isn't over with or a winner has not been.
What if she loses her vote in California before then?
Yeah, no, she's up too, so it'd be the same thing.
She's going to get reelected.
Hell no.
I'm thinking she's not.
No
I
way.
think we did a good job this cycle of exposing her.
Not a chance in heaven or hell.
I'm hoping.
She's
been there for
for 30,
20-some years.
This is for all the marbles and people, Californians included.
How long has she been?
Finally,
Alexa.
1,000 years.
How long's Nancy Pelosi
She's a damn dinosaur.
Been in Congress.
Playing specific songs is only available with Amazon Music Unlimited.
Shut up. Alexa, I don't talk to anyone else like that, you guys. Just Alexa. Alexa,
How many years has Nancy Pelosi been in office?
That's not supported on this device.
Alexa, Nancy Pelosi.
According to Wikipedia, Nancy Patricia Pelosi is an American politician serving as a congresswoman from California, and is the 2-time and current Speaker of the United States House of Representatives. A member of the Democratic Party, Pelosi is the only woman in U.S. history to serve as Speaker, and is the highest-ranking female elected official in United States history.
All right, if you're done polishing your knob over there. So, we were just over an hour. Let's take a small break. We'll come back up and finish it up. We can go another 20, whatever you guys got, but let's take a small one. I got something lined up here I can play. It kind of talking about what Scott was. People are mad as hell.
Win.
I won't take any more.
Win big. You just watch. We have the cards. There you
You're
go.
not crazy! Huh? Is that what he told you? Well, listen up! There is a storm coming! Like nothing you have ever seen! And not a one of you is prepared for it!
I want you to get up now. I want all of you to get up out of your chairs. I want you to get up right now and go to the window, open it, and stick your head out and yell, "I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not gonna take this anymore!" I want you to get up right now. Get up, go to your windows, open them, and stick your head out and yell, I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore. Things have got to change. I know this.
Trump, Q, just watch. Sierra and Z, Operation Disclosure, a contributing writer. August 7th, 2020. The time is 06:38. Listen carefully to this 7-second speech excerpt from President Trump. Time for you to know. At Time for you to know. Heavily recommend you follow along over on the Twitter. Q, just watch. We have the cards.
But we're going to win, and we're going to win big. You just watch. We have the cards. They don't. But we're going to win, and we're going to win big. You just watch. We have the cards. They don't.
But we're going to win, and we're going to win big. Q, just watch. We have the cards. They don't. President Trump. It is unmistakable. President Trump says Q instead of you. Another example for those with the ears to hear and the eyes to see. This tweet features a picture of the entire White House staff seeing off POTUS as he boarded Marine One helicopter to travel to Ohio. I have not yet begun to pounce. Brian Katz at Drawn and Strike 22 hours ago. You all know why Trump has now left the White House, being seen off by the entire White House staff before he traveled to Ohio, because he won't be back for a while to go to his resort in Bedminster, New Jersey, right? This picture was taken today when President Trump was boarding Marine One to travel to Ohio. I thought it was unusual that it appears that the staff members were out watching him leave. I've never witnessed that before. One from IET, and he has retweeted an interesting theory about the E-4B U.S. Air Force plane known as the Doomsday Plane, or Flying Fortress. It is a command center where POTUS can be safely based when necessary. As IET has noted, the E-4B moved to D.C. last night after President Trump's speech, then left this morning. IET tweets, Anon theory from Kun. General Flynn comms, August 5th, 2023, missing E's, July 22nd, 2016, 1 missing E and 1 capital B. 3 E's plus 1 E plus 1 B equals E4B. E4B equals Flying Fortress, Sky Fortress engaged. Codes command action. And you got a nice link here of all the, I'm going to save these images. Here is the QPost 500 from the 7th of January 2018. Came to us at 7:18 p.m. DEFCON 1 stringer marker. The DEFCON 1 41020. Fire and Fury. 9 states of class ready to go live. 34 commands live. Codes command action. Non-nuclear. 1 in the brackets. OWL. 1 in the brackets. And here is the General Flynn August 5th tweet. This is a fight, BTWN, between good and evil. And then at the top there you see thank you for the terrific endorsement at Flill to Flight and at Real Donald Trump, who will be our next POTUS. The E-4B or Doomsday Plane is a highly survivable flying fortress used to transport the Secretary of Defense. Designed during the Cold War, the 4 planes are built to endure the immediate aftermath of a nuclear detonation. The plane is basically a flying command center, a Pentagon spokesperson tells CNBC aboard the aircraft. We must not underestimate the danger President Trump faces every day in his battle to destroy the deep state. Before the journalist arrived at the Bedminster press conference, a live microphone caught POTUS telling audience members, "Oh, there are my killers." As Bruno Barking says, he is not joking. And Bruno Barking here, Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech, or the press, or the right of the people to peacefully to assemble and to petition the government for a redress of grievances. A reporter just asked President Trump why many people in the room at the press conference at the Bedminster, New Jersey, aren't wearing masks. It's a peaceful protest, Trump says in jest, and gets cheers from the crowd. Things here as we scan through the news flow for your Saturday, August 8th, 2020. In other news, Dr. Simone Gold, who organized a Frontline Doctors press conference about the COVID-19 and HCQ and was fired by the medical board because of it, tweets about Fauci. Censorship is typically preceded by a disinformation campaign. It is now underway. 15 years ago, when Dr. Fauci was the director of the NIH, their official journal published chloroquine work against SARS-CoV. That is now a very embarrassing fact for the anti-HCQ cabal. That was at 10:40 a.m. on August 7th, 2020. Dr. Simone Gold. I would highly recommend you following her. Censorship is typically, so she goes into a nice little chunk of history there for Fauci. A digression, this video tweet is about a new sexualized doll for small children. I agree with Lisa Mia Crawley. It's disgusting, grooming little children. I hope people boycott this company in full. Disgusting, and shame on you at Hasbro, at Mia Crawley, at Lisa Mia 62. Again, follow her as well. I actually came across this video a couple of days ago.
I wanted to do a quick video because I find this disturbing and I find it something that needs to be shared. As you all know, stuff that's been going on in the world about the sex trafficking in kids and things that are thrown in our kids' faces to kind of groom them and make them kind of a little bit more oblivious to things that are
normalization that
are really happening.
That's what I like
so
to call it.
It was my daughter's birthday a couple days ago, and she turned 2, and she was given this gift. It's like a little Poppy doll. It's adorable. And here's the box. So she had a Poppy birthday, and so they gave her this. It's just from the new movie, The Trolls World Tour. On the box, it says Giggle and Sing Poppy. On the back, it says that if you push her tummy right here, sorry, it's glaring. If you push her tummy right here, she makes 10 phrases and sounds. And that's all it talks about, and it comes with a little comb. So, I mean, she does all that. You touch her tummy, and she makes little singing sounds, and she's super cute. Well, I was showing her to my husband, and I heard some other sounds that I had never heard before. And if you look down here, I figured a video was the best way. So I just touched her tummy, and she's gonna sing for a minute. But down here is a button, right here on her privates. And if you push those, she makes these sounds. Boop, like a gasping sound. And I know some of you may not like think this is a big deal, but especially since I've had kids, like this is wrong. For one, this button, it says nothing about this button on the box. Nothing. It's just there. And it makes a gasping sound when you touch her privates. And to me, it's just like sexual sounds, and it's so disturbing.
Yeah, so they came out, I looked into this a little further, they came out, Hasbro, with a comment saying that, oh, that was there, so when you sat the doll down at tea time, or whatever the kids were playing with, that it would make these sounds with, just by pushing down on the doll because it's sitting, but I guess that's not working. They had no instruction for that button to do that. They didn't even explain it, and, but of course, that's their official narrative. So finally, after the alliance has full control of the MSN, this beautiful photo of President Trump should be published on the front page of every corrupt newspaper worldwide that has labeled him a racist. 87 days until we get to vote to keep America great. If you haven't yet, download the Trump app. It's a great way of keeping up with everything that Trump campaign is doing. I guess I missed this one because I don't have it here, so I'm going to click it. Here we go. This awesome photo. Very awesome. Should be on the front page. And there you go. 87 days. Lisa Mia Crawley again. So as we witness President Trump board his Marine One helicopter to travel to Ohio, and the almost the entire White House staff gathered outside the White House to watch him leave. I've never witnessed anything like that before. Something is definitely up. Let's pray for POTUS. Let's pray for America. Let's pray for the world as the global cabal and their show comes to an end. Whatever it is, it seems likely to only be hours or a day away or so. Again, I am Michael. This is the Patriot Hour. God bless. Godspeed to each and every one of you. And where we go one, we go all.
China allowed it to escape to Europe and to the whole world, including us, and they're suffering this tremendous, you don't see that too much in the news, but you have countries that are going through relatively what we're doing plus. It's horrible. And but we're going to win, and we're going to win big. You just watch. We have the cards. They don't. But we're going to win, and we're going to win big. You just watch. We have the cards. They don't.
I'm mad as hell. And I'm not going to take it anymore.
Well, hopefully that goes for millions of us.
Hopefully that goes viral. And people are just, I've been recording this whole time. We've been live on Periscope. We've been live on Twitter. We've been live on the Patriot Hour. And I'm going to record it. And this video is going to come back out as a, hour-long sewed.
Gosh, those hip words I'm not used to.
Ooh, what was going on here with the Trumpster?
Did he just tweet something again?
Well, no, I just I was able to get into that real quick because it was like 7 minutes ago when he tweeted it. So I tweeted she set up the world. She must be held accountable, sir. That's awesome. It's just taken off. But yeah, let's troll his. 26 minutes ago he did that. Crazy Nancy. 2 hours ago, did you notice any time fake news suppression polls are put out, like at Fox News? The stock market goes down. We're going to win.
Well, hopefully everybody sees through the BS, because this time last year he was way behind. There was no way he was going to win. It was impossible. They were laughing at him on HBO. They were Bill Maher, and all of them were just bashing him. No way, no way. And I, quite frankly, was scared to death. Just scared to death.
Oh my gosh. Hold on, look at this one.
Uh-oh.
This is great.
Sleepy Joe Hayden was acknowledged by his own people to have done a terrible job on a much easier situation. H1N1 swine flu.
Ooh.
The Biden administration.
Oldie but a goodie.
The Biden administration failed badly on this, and now he sits back in his basement and criticizes every move we make on the China virus. Doing a great job.
So I think he's watching our show to be bringing up the H1N1 because we just brought that up.
They all steal our stuff. I'm sick of it.
Well, Trump's a little, Patriot Hour fan. Can't blame him. I mean,
well, he just did say thank you, Michael. I know that's spelled as Michelle, but right there you can clearly see him thanking Michael.
Hello.
Thank you, Michael. That is hilarious. Limp leg everything Don. Yay, I did it again.
Joe Hayden.
Hiding Joe Biden is trying to protect his selling out of America. Hold on. Ooh, this probably be a good one. Let's grab that one. We'll listen to it. It's only a minute. Sometimes you learn a lot in a minute. Hiding Biden.
Hiding from Biden.
Let's hear this one. Q-Post 300.
I got some fun facts for you. My father-in-law, I'm going to give a shout out to Kathy. I won't ever do it to my father-in-law because he's just not that type of guy. But for a while, he is a farmer. His whole community are full of, it's filled with farmers in that area. And I've been debating with several people over the last 3.5, 4 years the trade deal, right? So Trump takes over. He says he's gonna fight back against China, which finally somebody was going to do that, and he was told he shouldn't. His way's not going to work, and then China started balking and not buying stuff, and now we have billions of dollars coming in with our tariffs, right? Mm-hmm. Our GPD is on the rise. It's higher than it's ever been. But I have an interesting fact for you that I was told months and months and months and months ago that the farmers that I knew and spoke to, they understood this was a game of poker, right? Yeah. Anybody understands poker? Let me catch you up on what China was supposedly doing. They were telling the Americans, well, we're just not going to buy your stuff. We're not going to buy your corn, your soybeans. You must then become a mathematic genius or not to be a genius, not to be able to figure this out. So if you're going to buy 800 metric tons of anything from me for years, because you need it, and then you're going to sit at a table and tell me, I'm not buying your stuff anymore. But there's nobody else in the world that can replace that 800 metric tons. Yeah. I now am in a position, even if I have a small
hand, the country already intakes that, and they just by saying, we're not going to do it anymore.
So that's right. So, and Trump knew this. He is the great negotiator. He understands
the art of the deal.
This is
the art of the deal.
This is his baby. So I'm going to read something to you here real quick, and go check this with your farmers. There are farmers that don't like Trump, but they understand what he's doing to trade. We are stronger now against China than we ever have been. Period. In history. Period.
Who are we not stronger against?
Far behind on its phase 1 commitments with the United States. I love how they started like that. So I was even being fair and going to read that. I shouldn't have, but be fair. Somebody sitting here at agricultural.com is saying far behind on its phase 1 commitments with the United States. China bought 1.76 million tons of U.S. corn. This is where it gets great. Its largest purchase ever of American corn, and also the largest sale of U.S. corn to any buyer in the world in 3 decades. They just made the largest purchase ever. So they didn't come back to the table and just, well, we need a little bit because we're starving over here. They bought more corn than they ever have. So Trump's
fake news. Fake news.
You don't hear the news talking about
it
because
man.
That would make a lot of people that stood, this trade deal's wrong. If you're against Trump's trade deal or deals,
one hell of a dum-dum.
Are probably one of them idiots that say, vote Democrat, I'm a union guy. I'm not bashing union guys. But if you're going to be a patriot American and you're buying Chinese garbage, I try not to. I'd rather buy something made locally or buy somebody in the country. But don't tell me Trump's an asshole and his trade plan don't work and you go buy a Chinese-made TV, a Chinese-made anything.
That was a great fun fact, man, because you brought facts to the table, not